Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone. It's great to see all of you. I'm very happy to be here. So I'll start by introducing you to AlertLogic. AlertLogic is a security as a service provider, currently with more than 3,300 business customers subscribing to our suite of SaaS security products. In terms of revenue, we're an $85 million business today, growing at 40% a year. We started the company more than 10 years ago in Houston, Texas, and we now have global operations. Now, we've always been a SaaS provider, so we have a long history of protecting business applications running in on-premises data centers and in hosting provider data centers. And over the last 3 years, we've turned our primary strategic focus to AWS cloud customers. So I'm very excited to announce today AlertLogic's newest product. It's called Cloud Insight. This is a cloud-native vulnerability and configuration management tool for AWS customers. Cloud Insight makes identifying vulnerabilities in AWS applications super fast and super easy, and remediating those vulnerabilities more effective and more automated than ever before. Now, I'm eager to show you in a demo how this works, but to set the stage for the demo, I'd like to explain what you're about to see. One of the cool things about Cloud Insight is what we call a Topology Threat Map, which allows customers to visualize their entire AWS environment. This provides context for all the vulnerability data that we provide. And what you'll see in the demo is taking that vulnerability data in context and translating that into remediation action. Now, to set the stage, imagine a major widespread vulnerability like we saw last year with Heartbleed or Shell Shock. What we'll look at next is how, as an AWS customer, we can use Cloud Insight to quickly understand where we have exposure to the vulnerability and how to quickly remediate it. So if we begin the demo now, what you'll see first is this threat map showing the AWS regions, VPCs, and subnets of our environment. We can drill deeper by clicking on hosts, showing all the hosts on the VPC, and then by selecting the threat map, we get an intuitive color-coded view of our threats, with red being most critical. Now, as we type Heartbleed in the search bar, all the hosts that are exposed to the Heartbleed vulnerability turn blue. We quickly get information about those hosts, the subnets that they're in, and the VPC that they all sit behind. Now, seeing all this vulnerability data is great, but remediating is even better. So by selecting the VPC as we did, and as a result it turned green, we can now scroll to the top of the UI and tell Cloud Insight that we want to begin our remediation actions. Cloud Insight then stack ranks and prioritizes all our remediation actions. You see Heartbleed near the top of the list. Here we see those same hosts that are exposed to the Heartbleed vulnerability, along with information telling us what AMIs are running on those hosts. We get more information about the vulnerability itself, the impact, we get resolution advice, and when we decide we want to take remediation action, we select it, as we just did here, and then at the top right, we add this remediation action to our remediation plan. Now, in addition to all these great features, what AlertLogic customers love about Cloud Insight is that it's programmable. So in these next few scenes, you'll see the features that we expose that allow customers to integrate the automation of the recommended remediation tasks into their continuous deployment workflow. Cloud Insight makes security a programmable resource in AWS. Now, you see how powerful that is in the case of a major vulnerability, but imagine how helpful it is just in day-to-day operations. So let's look at how easy it is to implement. In the next segment of the demo, we see a user logging in to the Cloud Insight console and then kicking off the Cloud Insight auto discovery process by entering AWS account credentials. So auto discovery collects all the asset and configuration data, compiles it into this high-level view of the regions and VPCs in the environment, and then allows the customer to determine which parts of its environment it wants to protect. Here we've selected all the VPCs in the West region, and by continuing, the Cloud Insight auto-deploys throughout the entire environment. You get updated on status throughout the process, and as soon as deployment is complete, it triggers a scan of the entire environment, leveraging AlertLogic's library of more than 70,000 vulnerability checks. It then compiles all this vulnerability asset and configuration data into the topology map, like the one we saw at the beginning of the demo. So in this case, here's our new topology map for this environment as a result of auto deployment, and it's dynamic. So as your environment experiences moves, adds, and changes, we're continuously monitoring and updating the asset, configuration, and vulnerability data for you to be able to visualize things at all times. That's the only way in a dynamic environment like AWS that vulnerability management can be effectively performed, and that's exactly why we designed Cloud Insight the way we did. So Cloud Insight is just the newest of AlertLogic's suite of products, and it remains true to the core principles of our business, which is to provide deep security insight, intelligent remediation, and continuous protection to AWS customers. So what we're announcing today is the immediate availability of the public beta for Cloud Insight. You're all welcome to participate. Anybody who's interested, please go to the AlertLogic website to sign up. Now, in closing, I want to thank AWS for everything they did to make this possible. Some of the most key and compelling features of Cloud Insight leverage powerful AWS APIs, great services like CloudTrail, and by building this product on the AWS platform, we're able to save time and money in getting the product to market. We've estimated savings of more than $1 million in CapEx, almost $1 million in annual operating expenses, and 6 months in time to market. So thank you, AWS,